The minstrel boy to the war has gone. In the ranks of death you will find him.
Well, hello and good evening. Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 4, Episode 12, The Wounded, first aired back in 1991. But here on Live Long and Podcast in 2026, we're just getting started. Whether you're joining us live on YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook, or catching the audio version wherever you get your podcasts, our mission to rewatch every episode of TNG continues. One treaty violation, one rogue starship, and one painful look into the past at a time. And now, this is your captain speaking. I am your host, Dave Mater. And in this episode, Picard must confront Captain Benjamin Maxwell, a decorated Starfleet officer who has gone rogue and begun destroying Cardassian ships under suspicion of treaty violations. With tensions rising and the threat of renewed war looming, Chief Miles O'Brien's past with Maxwell becomes the key to resolving the crisis. All right. And it's myself tonight, and we have one other panelist. He has been here before, although it has been a minute, a lifelong fan of the original series and someone who has only dipped into the Next Generation here and there. But tonight he gets to meet one of the great TNG villains for the very first time. He already loves the Borg. So is this episode a perfect chance for him to see the Cardassians enter the franchise and set the stage for some of the best political storytelling Star Trek ever does? He has never seen The Wounded before, so we get to his fresh reaction as Picard tries to stop a rogue Starfleet captain, and O'Brien confronts the scars of an old war. It's my dad, Ted Mater.
I'm here. Glad to be here to analyze this show.
What a surprise, the chat is saying. The GOAT, the greatest of all time, says many. Mostly your number one superfan, Sam. Yes, Sam, he is here. Of course, we have others in the chat. I don't have my my friends Narduzzi or Jody here to monitor the chat, so I may be a little less responsive in the moments. Jody's supposed to join us, but apparently Jody doesn't know how to make a computer work. I'm just saying, he's having hardware issues, so shame. But my dad and I here to talk all about this TNG episode, a classic, considered to be maybe one of the best ever, with a great guest star here as Bob Gunton as Captain Benjamin Maxwell, who, if you ever seen The Shawshank Redemption, he plays the warden in that film, and many other roles.
Yeah, I never noticed that. I never realized that was the same guy.
Yeah, and this is a couple years apart. Like, I think Shawshank came out like 94 or something like that, so this is a couple years before that. But yeah, and I don't know, Dad, I guess as we've mentioned, you're not like the biggest Next Generation aficionado, but you have a general sense of who these characters are, I think.
Yep.
And O'Brien, in particular, he's the one who becomes part of the spin-off series, Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Yeah,
Deep Space Nine. Yeah. And this episode in particular is really setting up that next spin-off that they were probably planning by then, because Deep Space Nine hasn't started yet, but they're introducing the Cardassians in this episode. They're giving us more about O'Brien's backstory. Of course, his wife Keiko, who he got married to Keiko like 2 episodes ago. He's more about their married life is featured here, and giving him a way to talk about his past in the Cardassian Wars. So, what was your take on this episode?
I thought it was pretty good. It kept me interested the whole way through, so that was good. I didn't quite like that food she was eating.
Well, neither did Miles O'Brien. He's like, why don't you make some stew? Make some.
But they have this machine called a replicator, and they can order any food they want, I guess, eh?
They could, yes.
Like if he wanted to have lobster, he could have it, right? He could just replicate anything he wants, eh?
He could have that, yes, but he's not a fish. Like he tells his wife.
I know. I'm just saying. The first time I've seen the replicator in action, so I didn't realize that. Of course, I never really realized what did they really eat in the original series anyway.
If you watch it in the original series, they like it barely looks like food. It looks like just like these cubes, like colored cubes.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
And they make references. Like there's one episode in the Tribble episode, like the Tribble eats Kirk's chicken sandwich, if you remember, his chicken sandwich and coffee that he had ordered. So they do have some real food in the original series, but the next gen definitely trying to expand on this idea of like the replicators and this being the future. But also, this was the early 90s. They're also kind of showing us a cross cultural marriage between O'Brien, an Irishman, and Keiko, a Japanese woman. Both human, but from different parts of the planet. Yeah. So they have differences as well. And some of that featured here. And, and then there's the whole introduction of the Cardassians themselves. What did you think of the Cardassians?
Well, they kind of reminded me of, they're really alien looking, kind of ugly.
Kind of, but okay. Well, not just the look of them, but like how they're presented as like sort of this antagonist to Starfleet and.
Well, they were at war with them for 10 years or something, so they didn't like each other to start with.
It's like more like 20 years.
Oh, 20 years, okay.
Like on and off. It's kind of like it was kind of an on and off again war, sometimes called the border wars or skirmishes. Even that's how O'Brien even describes it in this episode. Because like basically like as the Federation grew and as they colonized more and more planets with humans and other aliens, they ran into other empires. One of them is the Cardassians, and the Cardassians did not like humans and other Federation aliens, basically setting up shop in their backyard. So it leads to this series of attacks and wars and massacres and bad blood building up on both sides. And they finally have reached a peace, but it's a fragile peace. And just when they've got that going, this Captain Maxwell, O'Brien's he goes rogue and he starts blowing stuff up.
Why were they going to that? Before this happened, they were going into Cardassian territory. Why?
They were going in to meet another ship. Basically, it's part of the peace treaty process, I think, to like start like normalizing relationships and things like that.
I couldn't quite understand why they were going into a hostile place where they might get blown up, and then they almost did.
Because they weren't expecting to get shot at initially. Like it was supposed to be like this is the beginning of like, hey, we have a peace treaty. We're gonna go meet the Cardassians. We're gonna have they were probably gonna have like a dinner or something, and it wouldn't have made the show. But when they come in as they were planned to, they get attacked right away, and then they go, well, why are we being attacked? And then they have to work all that out. And the Cardassian captain, the Gull, that's what their name for a captain is, a Gull.
Okay.
Right. Gull Massett, as he is in this episode. He is played by Mark Alimo, who went on to play a different Cardassian in Deep Space Nine. The main villain of Deep Space Nine.
Oh, yeah.
His name is Gul Dukat. Are you still there?
Yeah. Gul Dukat?
So there's been a lot. Gul Dukat.
Gul Dukat. Yeah.
Gul Dukat. Yeah. And this is Gul Massett. And in a lot of different versions, they consider because, it's the same actor, same voice, slightly different look. and they'd say, oh, well, must be the cousin of Gul Dukat. People make that up in their heads. Any update on Jody? He needs 5 more minutes. So we'll jump into the screenshots in a moment. This, just for our credits here, this is the 86th episode overall of Star Trek The Next Generation that aired on January 28th, 1991, with a story by Stuart Charno, Sarah Charno, and Cy Chermak, and a teleplay by the great Jerry Taylor, who went on to be the showrunner for Voyager and head writer, at least, I guess, for Voyager. And directed by Chip Chalmers, who directed a couple episodes ago, I think, when we were doing Reunion. And yeah, as we've kind of broken down a lot of the different aspects of this episode in terms of like setting up the Cardassians. And I think the thing too was like this whole episode, like Picard is trying to stop the Cardassians. He's trying, he's trying to stop Maxwell from attacking the Cardassians. Right. Maxwell's going around blowing their stuff up because he says they're preparing to attack us. They're setting up military bases near our colonies. This is they're on a ruse. And by the end of the episode, that seems like that is the case, that the Cardassians are being bad. Right?
Yeah. I think that was the case. But they didn't. I don't know if they would have boarded that Cardassian ship, what would have happened? Who would have known?
Well, that's what he says at the end. He's like, I'm sure we would not be having this pleasant conversation if I had boarded your ship and found out there was all these weapons and other things being brought there, as a staging point for another attack, another war. And the thing about the Cardassians is they're kind of really modeled after the Nazis in a lot of ways. They're meant to be like this totalitarian, fascist empire that, much like how Germany after World War I was crushed and like their economy broken, in a very similar fashion, like the Cardassian Empire kind of rises up from severe poverty and becomes like this evil state. And they attack a species at one point called the Bajorans. Have you heard of them?
Yeah, I've heard of them. Yeah.
So because they're the feature of Deep Space Nine, and so they're imperialists and they want their empire to go. So 50 years before this episode, they attacked the planet of Bajor. They occupied Bajor for roughly 50 years, enslaving them and strip mining their planet and all kinds of stuff. And eventually, like, they're going to leave Bajor by choice. And that is kind of the premise for Deep Space Nine. That like the crew, they go there, they go to Bajor after the occupation's over.
They had nice ships though.
The Cardassians?
Yeah.
Well, they're nice. They have a very distinct design. Like they're kind of that. I don't know how to describe it actually.
Like a nickel finish almost.
Yeah, well, and the shape of it, the profile is kind of like this long, skinny thing. Some people hate it, but
I like it.
I liked it. I think that they're an interesting dynamic, the Cardassians, because up until this point, like, we have the Klingons, we have the Romulans, but so the Cardassians are kind of like the fourth major power of like the local area, if that makes sense, right? Like they're more on the west, and the Romulans and the Klingons are more on the east, if you want to think of it in that term. But they're meant to be bad. And just so you know what comes up after this on Deep Space Nine, like, so eventually there's this other alien empire that comes in called the Dominion, right? And they come from the Gamma Quadrant through the wormhole. Anyway, so they want to conquer the entire galaxy, basically. And
they're like the in Star Wars, like that kind of a group.
They want to conquer everyone and control everyone, basically. And the Cardassians, who are initially against them, like they're with the Federation, the rest, they betray the rest of the Alpha Quadrant powers and they join the Dominion. And then there's this huge war in that show. And the Cardassians are on the other side of that. Even before the Dominion War, the Cardassians had been like attacking these human colonies in what was called the demilitarized zone. And that led to the formation of this rebel group called the Maquis, which were a bunch of Federation terrorists, basically, who wanted to fight the Cardassians. So there's a lot of rich lore and universe building that they go through with the Cardassians. So their introduction here is significant. They're not like the Borg. They're not like as ominous this threat, like this existential threat. They're more of a rival empire largely, and a quite brutal one. All right. Well, do you want to?
Did they ever fight with the Klingons or the Romulans?
Well, yes, because in the Dominion War, so basically it's like it becomes like the Dominion, the Cardassians, and eventually the Breen are the one side of the war, and the other side of the war is the Federation, the Klingons, and eventually the Romulans join in with them, and then the three. It's like the World War II.
The axis of evil.
It's like the axis of evil versus the Allies, and that's how the show ends. Like that's like the finale of Deep Space Nine is like the climax of that war. And Gul Dukat being central to that. He's the one who brings Cardassian to the Dominion and everything else, right? But this is not Gul Dukat. This is Gul Maset, a nicer Cardassian who doesn't want war. Gives this guy a hard time. All right, well,
and there was one Cardassian that was spying or something in that show.
Right, and he thought like his boss Gul Maset would be happy with him, or at least defend him. But he's like, no, he's pissed off because he thought like we're not here to start a war. And he explains, I don't want war. There are people on both sides who want war, who need it to come back. He's like, I'm not one of them. And we if we're going to build peace, we need to do it together. But he's still a Cardassian soldier guy at the end of the day, and he does know about. I think he knows that base is there, and I think he knows that Maxwell was onto them in some level. Doesn't really justify what he does, but even if he's kind of right about it,
Yeah.
Anyway, any comments here? So Sam wants to know what your thoughts on O'Brien are.
O'Brien, he's a good Irishman.
He's a good Irishman. So you're
good Irishman. He's singing the Minstrel Boy.
The Minstrel Boy to the War Is Gone.
Yeah, he's the Minstrel Boy. That's we used to sing that in school.
You knew that song?
Well, absolutely. I used to sing it all the time. Every year for St. Patrick's Day, we would have to sing all the Irish songs because our principal was an Irishman, and we would sing a concert for all the parents would come every year, and the Minstrel Boy. We had to know all the Irish songs so that you had to sing them.
Okay, well, so that's interesting. I didn't know you would have known this song already.
Oh yeah, I knew it.
All right, well, joining us now, late, or better late than never. Is what I meant to say.
Yeah, I'm on a backup computer and everything here, so hopefully I don't sound too bad. But I had a power failure today, and apparently that's wiped out something.
Oh, the storm?
Yeah, it's done something. I don't know what it's done, but either way, this is where we're at.
We had a big storm up here today as well.
Yeah, I had to go to Toronto today. Okay, I'm on the GO train. I get off the GO train, right? And it's literally like the storm hits right then, and I have to walk to the door to get into like the underground, right, of the GO train. I am soaked in like this, and there's the wind is flying out. It was crazy amount of rain and like wind. It only lasted for like a short time, but
just the time you had to get out.
Just the time I had to get out, and I was wearing my suit too, and I was just like I was drenched and everything else, and I was like, and I need to get back to work because I had been at this meeting all day. So quite the day. And I heard it knocked out the power where you live, Jody. So
yeah, I was out for a couple hours. So but I wasn't home. I was actually at the office. But anyway, sorry for the delay, guys.
Jody Simpson, everyone, he's with us.
Yeah, and I have my beautiful green screen that's not working either, and it's been a day.
Yeah. Well, okay, Jody. Well, it's all good. We appreciate you joining us, and if you could tell us about your thoughts about The Wounded.
I love this episode. This is in my opinion the way Trek should be. It's got intensity. It's got a decent story. The characters are interesting and compelling, even though I can't relate directly with all the characters. I still like them. Even the bad guy in this scenario, which in this case is actually technically the other captain.
Yeah, who's the bad guy? Is it Maxwell or is it Gul Maset?
It's actually Maxwell.
No, it's
Even
Maxwell.
though
I agree.
even though technically he was right, he did it wrong, and that's the thing. So, but overall, I think it's a fantastic episode. I think this is probably up there for one of my favorites. The only real negative I can say is Keiko. I absolutely hate that character. But
My
that's a
dad
whole
said
other
he
issue.
didn't want to eat what Keiko was serving for breakfast. Either.
Yeah.
No, and isn't she like an exobiologist or something? Like, isn't she like a
botanist?
Yeah, she's a
Oh.
botanist. So why wouldn't she know what capers are? Like,
I don't know. It's more
what are
culinary
these
than
little
botany. But
things? Yeah, well,
Yeah.
it's botany because it comes from a bush.
aren't capers Italian? Like, are they even Irish?
No,
in Irish
no,
cuisine?
I don't actually know. I'm not totally sure, but either way, I feel it's a great episode. Very good actually.
I
just
agree. It
noticed
is a great episode.
Jordy's in the background here. He didn't get a lot of play today, so we'll give Jordy.
He's barely in one scene. Basically.
Yeah, like he's got nothing going on. This is definitely a Picard and
Jordy, with the guy with the head
visor.
Yeah, because I watched this show on TV called Trivial Pursuit, and he's the host.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
Anyway, that's Jordy there.
He was almost like he was on Reading Rainbow. Have you ever heard of Reading Rainbow?
I know, but yes. I watched the Trivial Pursuit show all the time, and they play. It's like a game show where they have 3 contestants, and he does all the questions.
LeVar Burton. Yeah.
LeVar Burton. Yeah. He was on Roots, Dad.
Yeah, I know.
He was Kunta Kinte.
Kunta Kinte, yeah.
Kunta Kinte, yeah.
Anyway, sorry for the delay. As I said, I apologize.
All good.
Unfortunately, this is where we're at. I've been playing with this for an hour now, so I finally got something working. So
you're here in some form. You may not be as fancy, but
I'm not as fancy today, but that's all right.
But this is a day for a war with the Cardassians, or a near war with the Cardassians, and let's break down the whole episode, screenshot wise. Oh, Dad's
actually just one more thing before we start. Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
That Teddy. The other thing I just wanted to say about the episode is I like the pacing of the episode as well. It's not a dull episode at any point. I think the dullest part is actually Keiko. But past that, everything else is good.
Yeah, that was kind of that part.
There's 2 scenes with Keiko.
And they both were garbage. But anyway, that's fine.
Well, I don't know. A lot
they're
of this
necessary, but they're garbage.
A lot of I was explaining to my dad. I feel like this is almost like the beginning of them setting up Deep Space Nine, right?
I really think it is. I think at this point it was already being planned. Like it launched 5th season?
Basically in the middle of the 6th season.
Was it the middle of 6? Okay, yeah. But either way, they would have had plans at this point. I'm pretty sure. Like. You don't put something like Deep Space Nine together in 2 years. I'm sure.
No. Like they were planning it by this point.
Pre-planning it
because this is the year that Gene Roddenberry died, and he kind of knew that they were working on it. Although he wasn't involved at this point. And I was even like the 2 episodes ago when they had Data's Day, when they had Keiko and O'Brien get married. I was like, this is almost like this is when they knew, or like. This was the most clear indication to me that they knew they were going towards this spin-off idea. We're going to do Deep Space Nine. We want O'Brien to be a character in it. Let's give him more, give him a wife, give him a more interesting backstory, and fill it in. And I think this episode does a lot to set all that up.
Yeah, no, it's a good O'Brien episode. You get a little bit more, licks into him as well. So it's kind of nice. But unfortunately, it's also kind of like the representation of the start of the torture that will be O'Brien for the rest of all the series.
Well, and I think also this interesting thing with him, like how this episode normally, Star Trek really went out of its way to like make their characters like heroes and not have these moral failings. But O'Brien is shown to like have all this grudge and trauma
and from the
beginning.
War. Like from the beginning, we see that he's got failures. Yeah.
The biggest moment for me is that when the Cardassians beam in and then Troy looks at O'Brien because she can sense his feelings.
That's the first time and she looks shocked. Like she's like, this is not something I've seen from him before. So, felt, I guess, in this scenario.
Right. Yeah. So like, that's like I think one of the biggest moments for me.
Yeah.
Anyways, do you want to jump in?
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. So we are breaking down the Wounded. Let's go. Screenshot. So it starts off with the captain's log where he explains that they're heading out to Cardassian space to meet them for the beginning of normalization of relations here. And even though like they're not supposed to be at war any longer with the Cardassians, Captain Picard's still pretty apprehensive. he talks about the last time that he was here being when he was captain of the Stargazer, and how, you know, he ended up having to tuck his tail in between his legs and run, get the hell out of there before the Cardassians killed him many years ago. Norman saying late 1991 was when discussions began, according to the companion to Deep Space Nine. So some months after this episode. Okay, so maybe they were. So maybe they didn't know yet.
I'm sure they kind of knew something was. This was the
because this is early. This is very early 1991. So he's saying by the 12 months later, maybe that's when they really started. So maybe they made this episode and they're like, why don't we pick that up again? Why don't we?
Yeah. Well, I think the Cardassians are really interesting characters, so I think it's nice to have them.
Yeah, well, they're different than the Klingons and the Romulans and the Borg, who are, I guess, are the big other bads of Star Trek, right? So they have their own distinct thing.
Why did they have those things, Dave, on at the beginning? They had some kind of a thing across their face at the beginning.
That was their battle helmet.
That's like their helmet. Okay, yeah, they basically we never see that again after this episode.
It's a one and done.
Because they even the uniforms that these Cardassians are wearing are not the ones that they'll go on to wear when.
They're heavily inspired.
This is kind of like the proto.
Yeah, I think this is the first run.
First run.
It's the first vision of these guys, right?
Just like how the Klingons in original series didn't have the ridges on their head until the movies.
Yeah, I don't think this is the first time we've really seen them this well, right? Like they were mentioned before.
I don't know if they've even been mentioned up until this point.
I think they were, but anyway.
But definitely the first time they've been on camera.
Yeah.
Anyway, in this opening discussion, they're all talking about the fact that the Cardassians are going, to be at peace with them now. Worf doesn't trust them. I don't trust them. Trust is earned. They're a bunch of, sneaky Cardassians, and and everyone's like, oh, this is getting awkward. But we have to try. We're at peace now. We're peace people.
What's Worf's job? Is he security?
Yes.
If you ask me, he's terrible at it, but
anyway. He's like the head of security, right?
Right. And tactical officer.
Tactical,
because he was almost like he was like Secret Service.
Well, Worf is always giving these lines. Anything that's like more hawkish is always given to.
It's always
Worf.
him, yeah.
That's kind of his job, but it's also because he's a Klingon, and
and he's the only one. So.
But they should have said we could have said we don't trust the Klingons, but we had to get over that, and they did.
Oh, look, he's a Klingon.
There he goes. And now at this point, the Federation and the Klingon Empire are at peace. So now the Cardassians have joined the party, at least temporarily, until the Dominion War. Speaking of a war, it's a food war, and it's we got Keiko's breakfast here for Chief O'Brien, which is a plankton loaf or something, and kale or something like that.
This just looks revolting. I'm sorry. And I've eaten a lot of weird stuff on this planet. And
very healthy, Jody.
Yeah, that's great. I still don't want to eat it.
Well,
Brian, even O'Brien's like, this is terrible.
No, he loves it. It's just like his mother used to make. No,
not at all.
Keiko, Jody's other favorite character on Star Trek.
What was O'Brien in before he was in this? Was he in another show?
He's been in tons of stuff.
He's been in movies.
He's been in a lot of movies.
In the original series?
No, he's too young for that.
He's too young. Yeah.
No, but he's in the original pilot for Next Generation. He's like in that first episode. He's the pilot who takes over in the battle bridge. And
he's there. He just.
You might have known him also. He was in like Under Siege, the movie with Steven Seagal.
Yes, he was with Seagal.
And he's also been in a lot of British television as well. So if you're a fan of Brit TV,
he is an Irish actor.
He is,
like straight up from Ireland.
Under Siege he was in, yeah.
I think he's a bad guy in that, isn't he?
Yeah.
Can we talk about these shovels, aka forks, for a second? What the hell is going on with these? These are so ugly.
It's the future, Jody.
This is the future. We don't need these. We need something better.
No, this is as good as it gets. This is evolution of flatware.
Yeah, Sinister just actually Con Air is probably the one you may know the best about because he was heavily in that one.
I don't know if my dad's seen Con Air. Dad, have you seen Con Air?
Yeah, I think Nicolas Cage, right?
Yeah.
And in that movie, there's John Cusack, and he's running around with Cole Meany, Miles O'Brien here, in that movie as well.
Yeah, he's the other agent that's trying to.
He's like the bad cop to John Cusack's like good cop, basically.
Yeah,
he's a great actor though.
Anyway, so But the whole back to the episode, this breakfast conversation, which goes on a little long, is about how Brian is not a fish and he wants to have mutton and eggs and bacon and just biscuits for breakfast, and Keiko just thinks that's too heavy. You need something lighter. And
yeah, because everybody wants to eat plankton loaf and whatever else this was, and sea berries, I think it was. Yeah.
Sea berries. Hey,
yeah, sea berries.
Who wants to eat that for breakfast? Come on now.
It's a Japanese delicacy.
Yeah,
anyway, so then he's talking about his.
Oh, I think we just lost Dave. And I don't have the screenshot, so I can't do anything right now. So we're going to have to wait for Dave to come back.
Yeah,
there he is. All right. He's coming.
Sorry, guys.
He's back. All right. There we go.
Yeah.
Malfunction?
Right. Malfunction.
He's probably having the same problems I'm having today.
I don't know. My thing, my browser would just randomly crash on me in the middle of a podcast sometimes.
Yeah. Isn't that fun?
Yeah. Anyway, so talking about his mother making real meat and butchering animals,
and she's like, she touched the meat with her hands.
Real meat, and he's like, "Oh, you damn right. No replicator on my mother's Irish farm. You better watch out." Brian, I think he's from 5 kids or something like that.
Yeah, I think he mentioned he had a couple brothers and a sister or something.
Yeah,
I can't remember exactly.
And his mother would curse in Irish, when she was pregnant with his siblings. But yeah, very.
Isn't that just saying it louder with a slur?
Isn't
that the same thing?
Yeah, you're more drunk, basically.
Yep.
Anyway, so yeah, just kind of this whole opening scene is just kind of establish O'Brien and Keiko, remind us, and then there's a red alert. The ship's being attacked. What's going on? We go to the bridge, and the Cardassians are straight up firing here on the Enterprise D. We get the first visual ever of the Galore class.
Not even warship. A phone call though. They just literally just started attacking them.
Yeah.
No phone calls, no nothing. Yeah.
My dad was saying he's a fan of the Cardassian ship design. Jody, do you have a opinion?
I think it's unique. I think it's something you didn't kind of see because like in Star Trek, especially like the original series, everything was kind of uniform. It was a lot of the ships were kind of the same to a degree, like or at least the same aesthetic. Whereas when we see this ship, it's like completely different. Like it's fat up front and thin in the back and
yeah.
And all the propulsion is at the back, and it's a little tiny.
They try to give every species or faction like a different color. Yeah. The Cardassians have almost a yellow-brown tinge to their ships. Obviously, Romulans have green ships. And
Klingons. Don't get me wrong. It's not a Romulan ship. It's not some of the cool Klingon ships, but it's still decent.
Or even a Ferengi ship.
Yeah, the Ferengi ships are neat too. Yeah. That's one thing that Next Gen gave us a lot of is some pretty cool.
And expanding the world, expanding I guess
absolutely
who lives close to the Federation and who their neighbors are. Anyway, so the attack's going on, but the Enterprise D greatly outmatches the Cardassian ship. So after a few attacks,
well, you can even tell with the smug kind of feel that Picard is. He's just kind of like, okay, I guess we'll shoot at him.
He's like, yeah, I've had enough of this. He's like, keep firing our phasers until you basically have knocked them out.
Basically, until they don't know what they're doing anymore.
Yeah. And Worf's like, gladly, here we go. I told you we could trust these people.
Worf has something to do, which is always handy. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Anytime Worf gets to fire phasers, it's a good day for Worf.
Exactly. Yeah.
Did they just leave that ship there and took off?
Maybe. It's like those.
They don't really establish that, do they?
They don't really say that. We know that those 3 Cardassians come aboard, but what happens?
About the whole rest of the ship?
I guess maybe they fixed their ship and flew away.
Didn't the Enterprise send 3 guys over there as well?
No,
this wasn't an exchange program.
Oh, it wasn't an exchange.
No.
Yeah, and then we get the first Cardassian person on screen ever, called Masset, wearing, as Dad pointed out, like this kind of sumo wrestler diaper thing on his head, showing up after a Cardassian hockey game in pads. Gul Masset, as played by Mark Alimo. This helmet he only wears in this one scene. He doesn't even wear it.
He probably is thankful for that. It looks terribly uncomfortable.
I've always chosen to believe that these are maybe like a different ethnicity of Cardassians than we see in Deep Space Nine, to explain their uniform differences and their costume changes and things.
The only other thing I could think of is maybe it's some sort of control mechanism. Like maybe they use it as like a HUD for them or something.
I think it's just meant to be a hat.
I think it really is. Yeah, I think it's just supposed to be that, but it'd be nice to think it's something else.
Does this make me look cool?
Yeah.
No.
And do I look good?
Yeah. So because the Golmaset's pissed off because he's like, how dare you ask me why I attacked you? You've destroyed all our ships and our people recently, one of our colonies. And Picard's like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about, but I assure you,
like, what's going on?
I don't know. I have nothing to do with any of this. We'll get to the bottom of this. And because Bassett is defeated at this point, he has no choice but to like give in to.
But I love how he doesn't actually give in. He goes, yeah, you have 1 hour. Even though he's disabled and everything.
Fine.
Yeah,
you have an hour.
Then I took that as kind of funny. What are you gonna do then?
Yeah, nothing.
No, but that's the whole point. I think it's supposed to be that's a characteristic of these creatures, right? Is they don't back down anyway, right? Like even though they are defeated, like plain and simple. One more shot, these guys are done, right? Like they got no shields anymore, they got no engines, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So Picard's like, splendid. Let's go. So that is our teaser for the episode. Everything that sets it up in the cold open. Even Picard doesn't understand the headgear. Says Jim
neither do we, Jim. Neither do we.
And Picard's like, you could beam over, but you better take off that stupid hat when you beat.
Well, no, they beamed over with them on.
Did they? Okay, we'll have to look.
I think they did. We'll see in a second.
I think they did.
Yeah, I think they had them on. Yeah.
We get our title card, the Wounded here as the Enterprise and the Cardassian ship,
which I think is a fantastic name for this episode.
It's great.
It's many purposes, right? We have a lot of things that are wounded in this episode, including people and ships and trust
people, trust and actually dead people too.
Dead people too, yeah.
So then we get Admiral. Who is this? Admiral. Hayden.
It doesn't matter. He is stupid. So the first thing he says is, "I don't have to tell you, but I'm going to tell you." It's like, what? I don't have to tell you how important this is, Picard, but you got to do something.
This is a TV show, and we need exposition. To explain what the hell is happening. So
Jim says, Admiral Fat Albert. That is now his name going forward.
Yeah, like I think we've seen him before, maybe once, but he's like, we can't have this war, and he's the one who breaks down that we think it's Captain Maxwell of the USS Phoenix who's gone off and gone rogue, and this is a big surprise because Maxwell, up until this point, is considered a hero of the Federation and like one of their best captains, and this is not. No one's kind of saw this coming. So he's like, but the Admiral explains to Picard, he's like, we do not need another war with the Cardassians. We need this peace. You need to find Maxwell, stop this, and prevent war at all costs. That's your mission. Go. But
he didn't have to tell him that.
I don't have to tell you this, but I'm going to tell you this.
But I'm going to tell you anyway.
Yes. So, and he also explains that the 3 Cardassian observers are coming overboard to show that this is on the up and up, that this is not some kind of Starfleet conspiracy to allow one of their ships to go.
I think this also shows how good he is at diplomacy as well, because like the entire time he's like, you're seeing everything as I'm seeing it, like this is how it is, right?
Right.
So I think that's a really good way to deal with it.
Mm-hmm. So then Picard breaks down to his crew that these 3 Cardassians, including Golmaset, are going to be beaming over and being observers. Worf's pissed. He's like, don't let them near our stuff. Don't let them near our computer consoles. And they should be confined to the brig at all times. And Picard doesn't like. Picard's like, no, maybe like
not a fan.
We'll put a guard outside like the warp core or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
They don't have to even Riker's like, they don't have to have the run of the ship, Captain. Like they don't have to be allowed to go everywhere, even though they're guests.
Which I'm not sure he was even implying that. Like, so it's like I think this was
Picard really because he's like, one of our captains is going off attacking Cardassians without orders, and keeping the peace is also keeping the Cardassian observers sort of happy, placated.
They got to be.
They can't. You don't want to antagonize them. Is part
exactly.
Of the,
right. We want to be welcoming to them and all that.
While recognizing that we can't fully trust them either. Anyway, so they send. This is when Picard asks Data, like, has anyone on the Enterprise ever served with Maxwell before? And he goes, I'll check my little database in my head. Yeah.
He's like,
it
hold
was
on, just gotta get that USB connection going. All right,
O'Brien served with Maxwell on the Rutledge.
Yeah.
Oh, our boy O'Brien. Go talk to O'Brien, see what he knows.
Did you notice that though? The minute that they said that, though, Troy actually reacted, but it was very hard to see. She was like there, but
it was even
she's
hard for
reacting like, oh shit, because she already knows because she sensed that. Well,
maybe,
actually, she's
but
gonna be sensing something.
not yet. I don't think she has any sense.
I think she still kind of knows something at this point.
Well, maybe I don't know. Anyway, so then you're right. They do have the hats on when they materialize on that,
but they take them off in the next scene. I think
they take them off. So
maybe
this is
travel.
We get Golmasat and two Glyns, Glyn being the Cardassian equivalent of commander, and Glyn something and Glyn the other guy, and they're greeted here by Riker and Troy, who want to bring them up to the conference room, meet the captain. They introduce them to O'Brien, which they normally would never do. They would never say, "Hey, this is our transporter chief." Like they never do that in the other episode, but because they do want this reaction here from O'Brien, who has to kind of like,
I never even caught that. That's true. Yeah, they wouldn't normally do that. Yeah,
no. Anyway, so they're like, "Hey, O'Brien," and he was like, whatever. And this is where you see Troy starting to pick up on the feelings.
Yeah.
And as they walk out of the room, he's looking.
She really gets it hard. Yeah.
And then she's like, "Whoa, what's going on here?"
You settle down, sir. I have to admit, though, the guy that's in the hallway, that guy's on a mission. He's flipping right past.
He wants to be off at work on time today, so get off his back, he says. Anyway, so then there was that whole moment where O'Brien realizes she's reading him, and then he's like, "No, I never mind. I'm just gonna change the thing, change the subject, so to speak, or look away." And Troy is left. So, oh, I know what's up. Anyway, so then unforgettable Troy stare. It's a look of disappointment too, right? And then,
but she's also the ship counselor, and let's be honest, O'Brien probably has had a couple meetings with her. Like, she must know some of his history.
You think he's gone to see her about his post-traumatic stress disorder?
I think it's required. I think she has to sign off on everybody, right? So,
maybe, yeah. We
But,
know how he wanted to go see that counselor after he was stuck in the mental prison on Deep Space Nine for like that 20 years.
That was fun.
To that.
Poor guy.
Maybe Esri would be the counselor for him.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on.
Anyway, the meeting here with Golmasat and his aides, plus the only scene Jordy's in. This is the Jody, explaining how are they going to find the Phoenix. What else is? Oh yeah, this is mostly Golmasat being like, "How can we trust you, Starfleet people? We're trying to help you find the ship." And Picard's always trying to smooth things over. He's like, "Why don't we all just chill out and have a good time and be cool?" And he's like, hey, and then I love this moment here where Riker is like, "Yeah, Captain, you tell him how to be cool."
Yeah. This is how we roll, Picard. You tell him.
Yeah. Can only hear Adam in my head right now.
Look at that smug look on
It's a smug thing. He's like, "Yeah, my captain's better than your captain."
Yeah, my captain's way better than your captain. Look at his head. Great. No headgear even.
Then they said, "We've invited O'Brien to this meeting." We realize O'Brien is present at this conference.
You met him, the guy that we introduced to you in Transporter Room 3 that really we normally wouldn't do, but we did this time. Well, it turns out that worked out well.
Right. And they bring him in here, and O'Brien's like, they're like, "Why would Maxwell do this? Why would he go around attacking everybody?" And he's like, "I don't know. He must have a good reason. He wouldn't attack these Cardassians unless, they were doing something." And Golmasat challenges him here, and he's like, "Captain Maxwell would never act, without provocation. He's not that kind of man." He also talks about there's also the massacre of Satellite 3 is mentioned here for the first time. The fact that Captain Maxwell's wife and children were both killed, at that battle, at that attack by the Cardassians during the war, and that O'Brien was with Maxwell, the morning after that whole thing happened. And so this is where Golmasat was like, he wants revenge. That must be why. And O'Brien takes exception. anyway, they have to break the meeting here for whatever reason, and then O'Brien ends up in the turbolift with the other two Cardassians, the two Glynns. And they're like, "Hey, would you tell us about transporter technology? We'd like to, compare notes on that kind of stuff." And he's like, "Only if Lieutenant Commander LaForge says I can." And they're like, "Uh-huh." And it's a real awkward elevator ride. And then
I didn't get that elevator ride though. Why are these two guys with no supervision going? Like he's getting off on the 6th floor and they're going to the 10th floor. Like,
well, they're allowed to go around the ship. That was what they established earlier, as long as they don't go to like an essential protected area.
Yeah, but these guys are like, how do they know how to get around and everything? How everything works?
Wow.
I don't know.
That's a good question, but
they know that the bar's on deck 10. And
we only got a 45-minute episode here. There ain't much we can do with it.
Yeah, I guess.
We don't really know.
They probably looked at the guide.
We don't technically know how much time has passed from when they beamed in to when that meeting takes place, too, right?
True.
So
yeah. I do like this character though, because I like how they have a sympathetic character. Like this Cardassian.
Yeah, he's the more sympathetic Cardassian.
He's like the nice, sympathetic Cardassian who's just curious, and then this guy's an ass, right?
This guy who will try to steal the secrets, the weapons technology secrets, or whatever it was.
He wasn't doing that though. He was just looking.
And then they go, "Hey, O'Brien, would you like to come to the bar with us and have a drink?" And he was like, "Listen up. If they order me to tell you about transporters, I will. But who I spend my free time with is my business. So go to hell."
Yeah, and he picked
Cardassian.
Keiko. My God.
Yeah, I spend my time with Keiko. Bye. Yeah. And it gets off.
I want to go.
You lose your.
Oh,
we lost your mic there, Jody. Just happened. Well, anyway, it got awkward in the turbolift though, Dad.
Yeah.
Nope. All right. I can. Okay, so there's this whole scene here, Dad, with how Gulmasset was like, "You have like the transponder code for the Phoenix. Why don't you just give it to us, and then we'll just find Maxwell, right?"
Yeah.
And Picard won't do it. He won't give over the code for the Cardassian fleet to find them.
Nope.
Yeah. I don't know what you did, Jody, but you can't go. Your laptop doesn't have a speaker or a mic. So yeah, Picard won't give him the code. What did you think of that, Dad?
Yeah, that was the right thing to do. You shouldn't have given him the code.
But if he had given him the code earlier, then Maxwell may not have killed those other Cardassians.
They would have killed Maxwell, you mean, first?
Well, they probably would have killed Maxwell instead.
But how many people were on Maxwell's ship? Because he's the only guy that's appeared to be on there.
No, he's not the only one on there. He's the only one we meet from that crew. I think it can be assumed that like his class is a Nebula class ship. It's a little smaller than the Enterprise, so it's probably something like 800 people on Maxwell's ship.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, great.
Yeah, it didn't show any of his crew.
No, we don't even meet his first officer, who apparently
I think that was more of an expense thing. I think they just redressed something else, and then that was just his ready room that we saw.
But how did Maxwell convince his entire crew to go along with this thing? Like that's the part that's so strange.
Well, yeah, but you kind of get a hint from O'Brien that he's a very charismatic guy, and people love to follow him.
Right, his crew's loyal.
He convinced them, and
he's like, "We got to stop these Cardassians," and I have maybe he said, "I have top secret orders I can't tell you about," which is all made up.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But before we can get back to this important storyline, let's talk about what O'Brien has replicated. Is a Irish.
This looks tasty.
Yeah, what is it? Potatoes and
it's like
bacon.
A potato salad casserole.
Like casserole or something.
Yeah.
Keiko is not enthused.
I'm still surprised she doesn't know what a caper is, though. That just seems a little silly.
She hasn't had one yet.
It's a bud of a flower off of a bush.
Yeah. So there's this whole this thing where they're eating the meal, and this is when he starts singing "The Minstrel Boy." The war is gone for the first time, and then she's like, "What's that song?" He's like, "Oh, it's what we used to sing on the Rutledge during the war," and like because we find out about this comrade that Maxwell and O'Brien had at that time, who got killed at Setlik 3, and he was the one who first was singing that song on the ship. So he's
Can't remember the guy's name. It was like Chonky or something.
It was like
Yeah.
Stompy.
That's it.
Stompy.
Yeah.
Good old Stompy.
Good old Stompy.
And anyway, and then he was like, well, why should anyone be mad about the war anymore? Because he's talking to Keiko about his own feelings, but not fully admitting that there would be feelings here. And she was like, the war happened a long time. There could be some negative feelings, and you must have got over your feelings or whatever. And then
and if you think about it, when the timing of this, the Iraq War, like Desert Storm was, well, I think it was done at this point, but that's PTSD was starting to become a really big thing, right? So it's interesting that this storyline had that.
I'm just looking that up. Desert Storm.
It was in 91.
August of 1990 to January 17th, 1991 is when that war ended. So you're right. So this is airing around the time, probably was filmed around the time that war was kicking up.
Yeah, so PTSD was kind of a thing happening, and people started understanding more about it. And
I think after the Vietnam War, they were starting to put that together.
Well, for sure, yeah, but I think it was coming back into the mainstream again.
Yeah, true. Anyway, then we head over here to the Enterprise tracking the Phoenix. They're too far away from the Phoenix to intercept it, but they can see it on like this kind of radar screen that they have on the being view screen. And we see that the Phoenix is going to attack a Cardassian supply or I think it's a supply ship, meant to be having harmless medical supplies. My dad, Sinister Intelligence say his dad was in that war, Desert Storm. Oh, well.
That's terrible. But anyway,
I remember my dad thought he might get drafted to that war when it broke out. Remember that?
Were you in the States?
Yeah. I
didn't have a draft for that?
I distinctly remember, like, we're watching the news about when the Desert Storm kicked up, and he was like, I might have to go to this war. We'll have to see. Spoilers, he didn't have to go.
Oh,
so, anyway, so then they find... they can see that there's some other Cardassian warships in the area, and so Gul Macet once again asks Picard, give us the codes, help us track down the Phoenix and stop this from happening. And Picard has to consider it all. Does he betray his Starfleet comrades on board the Phoenix, or does he try to protect these Cardassians from being attacked by a Starfleet vessel?
Yeah.
And you can almost see this look here from Riker. He's like, don't do it. Don't give him the codes. We're Starfleet. But Picard, after a moment of consideration, decides to send the codes to the Cardassians. After all, Worf objects. He's like, "No, we can't do it." And he's like,
"Another reason why I think Worf is insubordinate and shouldn't have that job." But anyway,
well, he eventually does it, but he has to be convinced to do it by Picard.
He shouldn't have to convince him. The captain told you that. That's the end of it.
Well, you got to tell him twice sometimes.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he gives the order again, and Worf sends it off. But I think the warship does intercept the Phoenix, but it doesn't matter because the Phoenix wins the fight against the Cardassian warship.
Yeah.
And blows it up, killing 500 or 600.
Yeah,
Cardassians?
the first one was 550, I think, and then they said the second one was 50, which didn't make sense because later they said it was 700. But anyway, that's fine.
Right. So then, they destroy the warship, and then, which is, a little bit more of a fight, but then he's like, okay, but does your little cargo ship have any weapons? He goes, not minimal. And we see that the Phoenix destroys the small ship.
Sam can't stay with us, but he does give this episode a rating of 8.5. Thanks for joining us,
Sam.
Thank you, Sam.
And just the stunned look here from Marco Limo after he sees what
I love the fact that everybody has the same reaction though, which is like you don't have one person grinning, you don't have another one going, "Oh, I'm gonna kill somebody." Like everybody just has a stunned look, like what just happened, right? So I thought that was pretty cool.
And Picard too. So let's go find the Phoenix. Picard not happy with it, and then this whole part where he goes to talk to O'Brien about Maxwell. He's like, "Tell me about Maxwell." He's like, those Cardassians are up to something, Captain. They must be. You learn to watch your back.
You learn to watch your back when you're around those people.
And Picard says, he was. How did he take the death of his wife and kids? He's like, yeah, he took it pretty well. He's like, that's
like, okay, well, that's a red flag.
that's probably not good.
Took it
They
well.
wipe out your family. He's like, yeah, no, he was okay with it. He was still smiling.
Yeah, he was still smiling, but underneath the surface, he's like, I will get revenge. Watch out.
Yeah.
One day I'll have a nebula glass person.
And this is some 22 years later, too.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah. This was quite a while.
Right. Picard has one of the best speeches here about anger and how, it becomes like old leather. Norman saying I need to leave shortly. I give this episode a 10, by the way. This is an exceptional episode. It is an exceptional episode.
I agree. Maybe not on the 10, but I agree on the rest of the statement.
And the Picard speech, let's have a listen.
I think when one has been angry for a very long time, one gets used to it. Then it becomes comfortable, like old leather. And finally, becomes so familiar that one can't ever remember feeling any other way.
So I just want to explain something to our audience. That's the reason why modern Trek sucks, because they don't have writing like that. That's a fantastic line. That's great dialogue.
What I find interesting about the speech here from Picard is like he's talking about Maxwell and his grudge here of being angry at the Cardassians, but we know that Picard feels this way about the Borg too.
Yep. So he can relate. Yep.
But he's also, he can relate, but he's also kind of hypocritical because that's how he sees the Borg.
I think that's depend on how you depend on it, right? Yeah.
That's how how Picard sees the Borg the way Maxwell sees the Cardassians.
Sure.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But you could argue the Borg are actually more of an existential threat than the Cardassians.
Very much so.
And you can negotiate with Cardassians. You can't negotiate with Borg. Like that just doesn't work. Anyway, so O'Brien has to reflect on what Picard says to him about the old leather and being angry and holding on to the anger and some more self-reflection. Then he's later on having a drink at the bar by himself up in 10 forward, having a nail. And that Cardassian from earlier, one of the Glyns, comes up and has a drink, orders a glass of Kanar, as they pronounce it here, not Kanar, as we'll come to know it more in Deep Space Nine.
I could never get a liking to it. Yeah, I just couldn't. I couldn't have it.
Kanar or Kanar?
It doesn't matter. Both. I couldn't stomach it.
Well, it's not real.
Never got used to it.
It's a fictional beverage, but
I know. But that's what O'Brien says, right?
It looks like
used to it.
It's more like a hard liquor. I get the
yeah,
sense.
it's definitely some sort.
I thought he'd have a Romulan ale.
Well, he's not Romulan.
No,
it's a legal Romulan ale.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, they're not allowed to have that in the Federation.
Not till the war. Not till
the
war.
They still do, but yeah, they're not supposed to.
It's smuggled, bootleg.
Smuggled on. It's
fish juice.
Kanar's fish juice too. I know that they drink hot fish juice in the morning, but is it is there alcoholic drinks made from fish juice too?
So what you're saying is Keiko should be with a Cardassian.
I'm not going there. So
I think she should, obviously.
Well, she's got Sabar on Bajor. Don't forget.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Anyway, so like this Cardassian guy talking to O'Brien about all kind, like they're talking about just the thing because O'Brien apologizes for how he acted earlier, and and they talk about the Setlik 3 massacre and how that was a mistake. The Cardassians thought it was some kind of Federation staging post, and I don't know. O'Brien, you can tell, doesn't really take this too seriously because he's like, what? It was a bunch of civilians. You butchered a bunch of civilians. You want us to believe you thought it was some military base.
Yeah, but that also shows you like that kind of gives you the whole Vietnam kind of vibe, right? Like, well, we thought we were helping, well, were you?
They were not.
No, exactly. So the same thing, right? Like they were doing what they thought was right, and turns out it wasn't. And he knows that, which is cool. That's good.
And he's talking about this the first time he killed somebody. O'Brien killed somebody, with a phaser in the war. Gives
just incinerated right in front of him.
A pretty powerful speech here.
One of the women threw me a phaser, and I fired. The phaser was set at maximum. The man just incinerated there before my eyes. I'd never killed anything before. When I was a kid, I'd worry about swatting a mosquito. It's not you I hate, Cardassian. I hate what I became. because of you.
Again, better writing.
Well, Jerry Taylor wrote this teleplay, and it really,
Yeah.
she was one of the best.
She was.
Passed away last year. Anyway,
Good. Yeah.
so O'Brien finishes his drink, and the Cardassian guy is left to just contemplate all this. And it's the last thing we see. Well, the other Cardassian, Glenn, was caught by Worf sneaking, trying to sneak some military secrets here. And they come in, and, Worf rats him out, and Gul Macet very upset with his officer here. What business did you have going after their computers? You're like, this was not allowed. You go to your quarters and you stay there until we tell you otherwise.
We'll deal with you later.
We'll deal with you later. And Cardassian discipline is not fun. So
not
even if he's a nicer Cardassian like Gul Macet, this is not bode well for the Glynn. So good luck to them. Anyway, so he's taken off, and then Macet takes Picard into his ready room to say that I apologize for the way my guy acted. That wasn't allowed, and I'll discipline him. And and I think Gul Macet and Mark Alimo's performance in this episode is excellent. And you can see why they kept bringing him back to play Gul Dukat.
I'm pretty sure this sold him for everybody.
Yeah,
this was it. Yeah.
And he talks about those who need war and those, and he's not one of them.
There are those who crave war, who need it.
Yeah.
I am not one of them, Captain, and I'm beginning to see that neither are you. We have had our full measure. The lasting peace begins here, with the two of us.
He's going to make it happen. And then here we are. We've caught up to Maxwell. And
we get to see the ship, which is interesting.
We get to see, I think this is the first time we see a Nebula class ship.
I think it is, yeah.
Which is a slightly, looks similar to the Enterprise and the Galaxy class, but it's got.
They just put things in different spots.
The nacelles obviously below the saw. Well, I guess it's the way that the main drive section is done, and then you can also see that the Nebula class has this, what they call the mission pod above it. So like this little platform section, it can be different things for different long-term missions. It could be like a weapons pod. It could be like an arboretum. It could be something meant for like scientific analysis to fire torpedoes. There's all kinds of different. It's modular, basically. That's what I mean. So, Dad, do you have an opinion on the Nebula class?
No, it's good. I like it.
It's good. Yep. All right. And then comes in Captain Maxwell, who's been talked about so much up until this point. Plimpton, who says, "Great job you did with the Borg there, Riker. Way to go!" And sees O'Brien.
Well, and Riker, if you notice, Riker, when he first is introduced to him, he's kind of welcoming to him, and then all of a sudden he turns into the prick. He's like, "Yes, we do have something to discuss. They do have something to discuss."
Well, he's watching like how O'Brien still has this affection for Maxwell, and I think like technically they should just arrest Maxwell right now, right? But after all this and like get to the bottom.
The Federation is all about finding out what happened first and then arresting everyone.
Are they? Like
No,
I've seen other Star
not.
Trek episodes where they've thrown people in the brig for a lot less than this.
Oh yeah,
and,
for sure.
But whatever. Like him being like this notable.
He's so charismatic though. Like it's like.
Oh yeah.
You're
But you got that silver tongue by kissing the stone, right?
You got that silver tongue by kissing the stone. Maxwell getting into it here. And I guess because Maxwell being this respected Starfleet captain, they're giving him a bit of grace here. They're like, why are you doing this? And
they want to at least figure it out before they throw him in the brig. Yeah.
Right. So Riker's like, let's go, Maxwell.
And then Riker gets into mean mode. Mean Riker.
Mm-hmm.
I love how he gives him that wink in the.
I got it. It's all under control of my. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry.
Bob Gunton does not do this role with any kind of Irish accent, but
no, he should have though. It would have been amazing.
It would have been fun, except for that one line where he talks about kissing the stone.
But you got that silver tongue by kissing the stone, right?
I wish he had just done that accent the whole.
If he just did it the whole thing, that would have been great.
Yeah. Anyway, so the meeting here between Picard and Maxwell, it gets pretty real, right? He's like, "Well, I was glad when I figured out they sent you after me, Picard." And then Picard, like after like the handshake, he's like, "Why? Why'd you do this? There's nothing out here that justifies anything you've done.
Yeah.
It's a great
Turns
scene.
out there actually was, but he did it the wrong way.
It's maybe my favorite scene in the episode.
It's very good.
Is this back and forth?
And the tension is just like, as the audience, you're like, oh, there's so much tension in this room right now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, let's
really
have a
well
listen.
done.
You know what it's like to be under fire.
You weren't under fire.
Lives were at stake.
Whose lives?
We had to act now.
Why? You have killed nearly 700 people, and you have taken us to the brink of war.
I have prevented war. Or at the very least delayed it a good long time. The peace treaty was a ruse to give them breathing room, time to regroup.
And so all alone, you decided to dispose of the treaty.
I took the initiative. I did what had to be done.
What had to be done?
It's just the same line as
Why would a man
Dave. It's the same line that the guy used in A Few Good Men.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Well, it's got some. Well, it's a similar kind of a thing in some sense.
These boys stand on the line and they give their lives.
I stand on that wall. Who's going to stand on that
only
wall?
40
You,
feet away
Lieutenant
from the enemy.
Weinberg.
Yeah, you gonna do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I have that, but just to listen to the rest of it here.
The fundamental principles that he has believed in, even fought for, all of his life. And I believe it is because of what they did to your wife and your children.
Not true. Not true.
To avenge their deaths.
Which is great.
You're a fool, Picard. If I look at you and say, this man was a fool.
I'll accept the judgment of history.
Love
That's my favorite
Love
line.
that line. Yeah,
I
it's
love it.
such a
Like
good line.
when he's like, they'll say you were a fool. And he's like, I'll accept the judgment of history. I don't. I'm not really concerned with that. I'm not here to write history. I'm here to be here in the moment.
They should just use this as an example on how they should do Star Trek. This is such a good episode for this.
Yeah. I'm like, why don't they just do this all the time?
Yeah.
Anyway, so then after they have this chat, basically Picard's like, listen up. I'm going to allow you the dignity of flying your ship back.
I love that. It's so badass.
Because, you're such a respected captain. Or I will throw you in the brig and we will tow your ship back in disgrace. And so he has to make
He's
this
like,
calculation.
I'll go to my ship, Captain.
I'll go to my ship. You can totally trust me. Like I would never do anything rogue.
Yeah.
You would think they would at least put a detail on his ship with him. So
how about you call the first officer and say, hey,
just say, by the way, you got to go to this Starbase.
just so you know, if he says like you need to go somewhere, don't there's other things they could have done here. But basically, he's like, okay, I'll fly back and then we'll go to Starfleet. Oh, sounds great, Picard. And then Picard, and
then he does the first of 2 lookaways in this entire episode, which is great. He does this look away, which is like, I'm disappointed with you. Be gone. And then later on, he does the same thing in the
with
chair.
Masset. Yeah, he's
With
like,
Masset,
he turns around. He's like, get off my ship.
Yeah.
So then we see that the Phoenix and the Enterprise D here warping back. They got Gulbasset with them, and they're heading back. But all of a sudden, the Phoenix is changing course, and they're going after a base.
Who could have saw that coming?
Yeah, so they're like trying to hail them, but they don't answer. Picard's after them, and we see that the Phoenix is getting ready to destroy another Cardassian ship. And as they approach the Cardassian ship, they realize it's got like a electromagnetic field that it shouldn't have, which indicates that they're transporting weapons.
And just this look, they don't say anything, but the two of them look at each other like, shit, he might actually be right.
Well, there's the look where they look at each other, and then you see Basset looking at them, looking at
He's
each
like,
other.
Shit, the gig's up.
Oh, they figured out that we're up to no good actually out here. Inconceivable. And so they have to go, but they have to go after. They call O'Brien up there because O'Brien, we also established, was the tactical officer specifically on the Rutledge. So he understands Maxwell's tactics, and battle strategy.
Like, you put him in a corner, and he's gonna come out fighting.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they see that the Maxwell's getting ready to destroy this Cardassian ship, and he wants the Enterprise to board it, but Picard won't do it. And O'Brien explains he's going to, if he feels like his back's against the wall, he's going to attack. and he's like, stand down, Maxwell, but Maxwell won't do it. And this
I
kid
love
leaves.
how they've done this interaction though, because he's very dark. His face is, the light is drawn up from the bottom like he's evil,
Right, like we don't see him
Yeah.
like lit all like heroically on the bridge
Yeah.
of his
Yeah.
ship, right?
Yeah.
So,
No, he's sitting in his ready room, kind of being a cower, but he's doing that. I just thought that was a great touch.
So O'Brien has this plan. He's like, I can beam through their shields with like some transporter hijinks.
Yeah, I got a 1/50th of a second in 5 minutes that I can do this in.
like,
So.
does this make any sense? Like, to you?
Well, it makes sense from the logic of Star Trek for sure.
Like,
but
this is some impressive engineering.
this
like,
is a Jody line that Jody didn't get to say. That's all.
yeah.
It's like, oh well, we could do it this way. They're known for this. Cool it leak.
Like, couldn't they have just said like, "Hey, Maxwell, we're gonna send over O'Brien to talk to you"? Like, I think Maxwell would have said, "Okay." Like,
They probably have been like, all right.
yeah.
But
Anyway.
instead, he went in a 1/15th of a second to get there or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we don't get. We don't see him pull off.
Jim
but-
says it's space magic, which makes
It's
perfect
space
sense.
magic.
I think that checks out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we head over to the Phoenix. We see.
I love how he's staring at the ship though. He's like, oh shit. And then all of a sudden he's like, whoa, somebody's here.
Yeah, because O'Brien just walks into his ready room and he pulls a phaser on him, and
So my
like-
question is, who let O'Brien walk around?
Well, we don't know if the crew like did the chief of security of this ship go, what's going on?
Yeah, why are you here?
Just go down there. He's in there at the end.
Did
Yeah,
they even detect him be materialized at all?
Well, of course they would have to. They got the
you
same
would think so.
technology that these guys
It's space
have.
magic. Let's not. It's a great
Yeah.
episode. We won't
Jim
get too hung
says
up on.
space magic. Good.
Yeah, is what it is. Maxwell's like, O'Brien's Picard has to see reason. He's got to change his mind. And O'Brien's like, you were my captain. Now he's my captain. He's not backing down.
Yeah, he's not. No, this dude has the flagship.
He won't board the other ship. He's not going to do what you want.
Yeah,
so
gig's over. You're
gig's
done.
over.
Yeah.
And then they
Then they
talk
do a
about
thing.
they talk about Setlick 3 and everything else, and the morning after they talk about Stompy, that old friend of theirs who was killed.
Good old Stompy.
And
Which I
then
think
they
was
sa-
also the name of the elephant in The Simpsons, but that's a whole other thing.
right. And then we also get, of course, the whole.
You're gonna
story.
play this, aren't you?
Minstrel boy to the war has gone. In the ranks of death you will find him.
Oh, that's the.
I don't think we
version.
need to play the whole thing.
Okay, we won't play the whole thing, but it's good. It's they do a good job of it.
It's a neat scene because it's the defeat of one guy and another guy trying to relate to him. I think it's great.
Right. But he's like, I'm not gonna win. Like by the end of the song, he's like, I'm not gonna win this one. Am I,
Stampy.
Chief?
It was Stampy.
Stampy, not Stompy.
No, it was Stampy in The Simpsons. Jim's right. Yeah. I got it wrong.
He's like, I'm not gonna win this one. Am I Chief? And he goes, no, sir. And then we get this transition. We find out that the first officer, whoever he is taking over on the.
Which they should have just did the first time, and that would have avoided the whole
Yeah,
thing.
that would have.
Yeah.
But then
I
we
guess-
wouldn't have been able to confirm that the.
So I guess it was
Cardassians are-
good what Maxwell did.
Technically, it was. That's the thing. He was right, but
Yeah.
he was wrong, and that's the
was-
problem. Yeah.
Anyway, so then we see O'Brien on in the conference room giving this testimony to Picard, a statement, I guess, and he's like, I know he did some bad things and killed some people, but he was a good guy, and we sang a song once. You shouldn't be too harsh on him, Picard. And
He still knew all the lyrics.
And then Masset's
Captain
like, I'll be glad when he's behind a force field, and he's not.
Well, he already is technically. He's in the brig at this point.
I guess court-martialed more specifically.
Yeah.
And Picard's like, you shouldn't dismiss him. Like, don't dismiss O'Brien's loyalty to him. He was a good officer, and you drove him crazy with your Cardassian tactics. I don't know. This almost indicates that Picard has some level of sympathy for the Maquis, because basically the Maquis are people who take their matters into their own hands and attack the Cardassians, who are up to no good. And I guess Captain Maxwell, you could almost call him the proto Maquis in a lot of ways.
Pretty much, yeah.
He was like, I've been doing it way longer than Chakotay. Forget it.
Yeah. Chakotay's nothing. What has he got? A face tattoo. That's it.
Akuchi Moya.
Don't be going
Akuchi
after
Moya. Yeah, we don't talk about him here. All right.
Anyway, and then Picard's like basically admits like, yeah, I think you did have weapons on that ship. I think you do have a secret base there. And if I had boarded it, we would not be having this pleasant conversation right now. We would be preparing for war. A war neither of us can afford to do, but that's probably what would happen. You know, he's like, what? Say what? Come on, it's fine, bro. Like, what do you know? Like, what are you even talking about? We were pals before.
Which is almost a 360 what he said originally, because when they originally came across them, he said, well, you'd be at a disadvantage if we continue this. So, and that's kind of where Picard is at this point too. He's like, yeah, I know you're actually an asshole, and I get it. I get it, but there are ways to do these things, and this was done wrong.
There was a couple other things too, like earlier, like anyway, like just the whole Cardassians versus the Federation thing, and they've been fighting the Cardassians on and off for like 20 something years, right? And just like earlier when he was like, well, we can determine if it's a warship or if it's a scout ship, and like the Federation does take the Cardassian threat seriously, but they are and I think that's what we're meant to also get from this. So he's like, we will be watching you. And
the way he says it is just so out of character too. I kind of like it. He's at his last nerve with these guys. He's like, yeah, no, we will be watching you. We're done.
Yeah. All right. And that is the end of
and then episode. he does the Picard turn around and get the hell out.
Yeah, not very diplomatic of him. He was quite hard on the set. Yeah. And that is the end of the episode screenshot. It took us a bit to get through it. Thanks for.
I have fun facts if you want me to do it.
Oh, can we play the clip?
You can still play the other clip. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's throw the fun
we got to
facts.
give Jim his clip for sure.
Of course, we're gonna go with
let's do the
bowling ball.
Do one. All right.
Here's an interesting piece of trivia. A lift system lowers the bowling ball into a waterboarding machine to see if it's hiding any secrets about the KGB and its planted operatives.
Well, fun fact us, Adam. I want sexiness. I want fun factiness. All right, you're up. Oh, your audio.
Huh? Oh, hold on.
You're good.
Oh, what happened there? Okay. Yeah, I'm filling in for Adam, and I'm not nearly as sexy as him, but I'll try to do my best. All right. So Michael Westmore based the Cardassian look on an abstract painting he had seen 2 years earlier of a wide-shouldered woman with what appeared to be a spoon in the center of her forehead. So that's the reason. That's how they designed them.
That's a racial slur. How dare you? The spoonheads.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, this is the first of 5 TNG episodes to set up Star Trek Deep Space Nine, a central storyline. The next episode, Ensign Row, follows the reference to Unification 1, and finally Chain of Command Part 1 and Part 2. So we get a lot going forward of these guys. So they'll be back.
Yeah, we haven't seen the last of the Cardassians by any means.
And there's 5 lights according to them. All right. Anyway,
it's controversial.
Yeah, it's true. This is the only incident in which a Cardassian military officers are seen wearing any kind of headgear. That piece of the uniform was dropped in all other episodes involving the Cardassians in the Star Trek universe. So this is the one and only time you'll ever see that awesome headgear. Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah. But this is actually the first appearance of the Cardassians, who would later feature in several more TNG story arcs and will become the main alien race in Deep Space Nine, which we all know, obviously, but cool fact anyway. The facial hair and headgear worn by the Cardassians are unique to this episode and are never shown again. So even the facial hair is gone.
Yeah, they're the only Cardassians we ever see have facial hair. I do like this idea that they're like maybe like they're still Cardassians, but they're from like a different island of Cardassia.
Yeah, they could be part of a different area. Yeah, and it says also additionally, Cardassians' energy weapons are pink here. However, later on they are amber. So these were special space guns only for this episode. So there you go.
This is just didn't figure it out yet.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
This is Mark Alamo's third appearance in TNG. Each time he plays a different alien race. In this fourth and final TNG appearance in Time Zero, he would play the human gambler Frederick Laroque before
The first time he was here, he played like a dog man who was like, he was under so much prosthetics, you could never tell it was him.
You could never tell it was him, yeah.
Yeah.
And then obviously he ended up being the defining role of Gul Dukat in Deep Space Nine. The Minstrel Boy, the song that they're singing, is actually a real Irish ballad that was written by Thomas More in, well, we don't know exactly when it was, but it basically is a memory of his writing of who died during the 1798 rebellion of the United Irishmen, and is considered one of the most inspirational songs about bravery in battle. So there
We used to have to sing that in our Irish concerts when we were kids.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. First appearance of the Nebula cast starship. So you were right, Dave. That is the first time we've seen them. The name of Ben Maxwell, there we go. Ben Maxwell's ship, the Phoenix, is later established in Star Trek First Contact as the name of Zephyrin Cochrane's ship. So that's actually where it comes from. The first Earth vessel to ever travel at warp speed. The Phoenix would also, therefore, be historical and prestigious name of a Starfleet ship to have, somewhat like the name Enterprise, right? All right. There we go. Okay, so the beverage Kanar, ordered by the Cardassian in 10 Forward, was later established in Star Trek Deep Space Nine to be a Cardassian booze of choice. So there you go.
We get many types of Kanar. We get like the thick kind that looks like, maple syrup, and sometimes it's liquidy, and sometimes it's other things. So there's many forms of Kanar.
Oh, here we go. So this is something we touched earlier. This episode was produced and filmed during the run-up to the first Gulf War and first aired over the course of the incursion. Director Chip Chalmers observed Picard's push to prevent war and a push for the war by many in real life at the time to be an interesting, I can't say that word, documentary?
Documentary?
No, it's not that. It's autonomy or something like that of ideas, I guess.
Dichotomy,
that's the word. There you go. And the Cardassian skin is more pink than in future depictions, where their skin is a paler gray.
Could be
which is
another
true.
ethnicity. Could be another.
That could be. Yeah, we don't really know. The exit music that was played as Gul Musette leaves closely mirrors the opening theme for Star Trek Deep Space Nine. So they must have got some inspiration from that.
But they weren't talking about it yet. They weren't talking until later this year.
Yeah.
Norman told us.
And let's just do one more because there's quite a lot of them, but we don't need to go through all of them. The Phoenix's dedication plaque is shown to be in the captain's ready room.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, he said on nearly every other Starfleet ship, the dedication plaque is predominantly displayed on the bridge. And actually, you know what? We'll do one more. Previously, the instrumental version of The Minstrel Boy was heard briefly at the end of the episode Hall of Pursuits. So there you go.
But why? O'Brien's not even in that episode.
Which is weird. But anyway, interesting. Okay. Interesting thing. Well, you know what? Let's not leave on the negative. Let's do one more. This is the first episode to show where a doorway on the port side of the observation lounge leads, with a scene set in the short hallway and connected turbolift outside the door. So there you go. That's the first time we see that side.
Okay. Well, thank you,
that's
Jody.
it. I know it wasn't sexy and it definitely wasn't Adam, but it was factual.
It was very factual.
So I got 1 of 3. That's all we could do.
Thank you, Jody. And thanks to Jim the Casual for making the intro videos.
Yeah,
for
sure.
Segments.
I haven't seen that one yet. That was awesome.
All right. We might need a video for ratings, Jim, if you're listening. So,
yeah, Jim, maybe you can come up.
Ratings time.
We don't mind.
Ratings. Give me the ratings. What's the score of the episode?
Oh, yeah.
You can use all that. Yeah. All right.
You can use all that.
if you wish.
You're literally auditioning for the clips. Yeah. All right.
You can use it. Okay, let's score the episode. Ratings. The Wounded. I'll start us off tonight. This is a 10. It's pretty good. 9.8. Like it's damn near perfect. So Keiko's chat about the plankton loaf is my deduction.
I'm gonna do a 9.5 because I think there are better episodes of TNG, but barely. And Keiko really was one of the reasons why I didn't like this episode. But past that, I think everything is gold. The dialogue's amazing. This is, in my opinion, this should be a template for Star Trek. This is a great episode.
Well, it's a perfect episode, you're saying. Maybe you should give it a 10.
No, Keiko's in it.
All right.
Well,
I won't give it a 10.
All right. Dad?
so I'll say 9.5. I'll give it a 9.5. I'm cool.
High ratings.
High rating here from Ted Mater with an average tonight of 9.6. The IMDb rating for this episode is 8.2. Not as high as I would have thought.
I wonder why. There must be reasons.
Like it's lower than like the Drumhead, for instance, and it's lower than maybe a couple other ones here on the list.
Yeah. And Jim gives it a 9.5, which I don't think we ever called him from Jim, but we'll maybe we'll do that one day.
I can't have a column.
There's too many people saying the ratings. Yeah, but anyway.
Yeah. No, we appreciate you giving the ratings in the chat. I can't.
These guys are all family at this point, as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, 9.5 from Jim. Sinister Intelligence gives it a 9.5 as well. So there you go.
Excellent.
And of course we had Sam rating it earlier. And and as well as Norman. Norman also rated it.
Is this as good as Sub Rosa though?
Sub Rosa is garbage. Stop.
Right.
Stop making me mad, Dave.
Did you see all the memes this week where it was Beverly Crusher with Ronan in Space Ghost mode and she was talking to Mitch McConnell?
No, I didn't, but that sounds amazing. Poor guy. We shouldn't celebrate people's death.
We don't know he's dead.
There's a good chance he's going to be.
He's alive.
Oh, we know he's alive right now, but if he's brain dead, then he's pretty much dead.
No, but like that's the whole joke is all these like politicians saying, I just talked to him on the phone for 20 minutes. It was great.
You know who Mitch McConnell looks like is remember the episode where the little short, fat, bald guy there, he was somebody's son.
Oh, Ron Howard's brother.
Yeah, Ron Howard's brother. And the guy
from the original series.
Clint Howard.
Yeah, but guy who was the visual guy he didn't use himself because he was too like
the fake alien, the fake Balak.
Yeah. The fake head, He looks just like Mitch McConnell.
Oh, I don't know what you mean by that.
No, what are you talking about? No.
Yeah, he looks like Mitch McConnell, that guy.
And Jim wants to just quickly do a shout out to Bonnie Tyler, who also
did Bonnie Tyler die?
She did. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Quite a musical talent, that one.
Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Exactly, yeah.
Some of my favorite songs are Bonnie Tyler songs, like I Need a Hero.
There is no doubt in my mind that some of your favorite songs are Bonnie Tyler songs, for sure.
Yeah, she's 75.
Is it? Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, well, R.I.P.
It's funny because 100 years ago, if we said 75, we would have been, wow, they really hung in there.
Yeah.
So now 75 is like, well, only 75?
It's not that's not that much older than you, Dad. So.
No, it's 7 years. Yeah.
I was holding for her, but that's Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Oh, Jim, that's a nice one. I like that one.
Right. Well, just
what do we got on the go though, Dave? Like we got other.
Okay,
things.
so in a week's time, we'll be back for the next episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation. This will be the last episode we're reviewing before Strange New Worlds starts up.
Oh, okay.
So
am I on the next one? Because I like the next one.
Do you? We're doing Devil's Due.
I love what is it? Deidre?
Ardra.
That's it. Ardra. Yeah.
So in this episode,
so fun.
The Enterprise responds to a distress call from Ventax 2, where a mysterious woman who claims to be the planet's ancient devil returned to collect on a bargain made centuries ago. So
she's not the devil, but she does a good job trying.
Spoil it. So look out for that. We'll be doing Devil's Due. And then, Strange New Worlds Season 4. We will be starting the week after that. So
hopefully it won't be a complete abomination like I think it's going to be.
I hope Adam's happy. I just need Adam to be happy. Really.
Yeah, we really need a win for Adam.
Yeah,
we need a win for Adam.
Yeah, he's had some rough goes lately.
Is this a show that's just launching?
It's the prequel series. So it's the Pike show. It's all about Pike's years
Pike before
as captain of the Enterprise.
But Kirk is on it now.
There's a Kirk.
A young Kirk is on it.
Yeah. Okay.
Like young. This is like 5 years before like the original series. Like how much younger are they? But like anyway, I'm not going on a rant here.
Yeah.
Anyway, and also check out we're doing Firefly on Monday nights.
We are.
We will be back for the next episode of Firefly.
Which is a great episode.
It's called Our Mrs. Reynolds. We'll be on Monday night, season 1, episode 6. We call it. So
And a very young, what's her name now? Can't remember her name.
Hendricks? Christina Hendricks?
Christina Hendricks. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Very young Christina Hendricks. Yeah. Very fun
And
episode, actually.
Trivial Debates. This Sunday, I am doing the Babylon 5 Trivial Debates with Jeff Aiken, Jim the Casual, and one more panelist whose name escapes me.
Dave, if 10 people watch this episode, I'm going to buy you a beer. There is no way this is going to happen.
There will be millions of us. Millions of
no
Babylon
one
5.
cares about Babylon 5.
We
but
don't
anyway,
know.
we'll see.
All right.
I could be wrong.
So that's all the things we have going on here. And I guess we'll leave you with I don't know, a quick little quote here from Maxwell about kissing the stone. We'll see you next time, everyone. Thanks, Dad. Thanks, Jody.
Bye.
And live log and podcast.
But you got that silver tongue by kissing the stone, right?
Beam up some Star Trek content with Live Long and Podcast. A roundtable movie discussion with Hey, did you see this one? And take a peek into the darkness with Heard Noise, Must Investigate with Michael Chan. Watch us duke it out on Trivial Debates. And let's chat about TV with the Super Mato Brothers. It's all here on the United Federation of Podcasts.